I'm about to head to work, but before we do that, we're going to try and make a Inheritors of the Light video, and the last time we held a vote, we voted for 3 units. 3 units were chosen: Adult Tiki, Paula, and oh boy, it's time to finally look at the eyes of the void, or at least look into the void with our own eyes. And boy, it's Fear, and that's what her name is. It's actually Fear. At least I believe it is, based on the Japanese naming scheme for her, but I could be wrong. I could be, could be Fur, but it's Fear, at least from what I can tell. And a lot of people wanted us to try and make a build for her. I don't know why. You are insane, but I guess we'll talk about her. So special shoutouts to Jay, or Fluffy, or whatever name you want to go on Discord. I always forget, for helping me out with this one, because this was a real head scratcher for me. Yeah. Also, check out our Discord. It'll be in the description for anyone who wants to join and talk about heroes, or just hang out and likes the channel. Anyways, enough of that. Let's start it off by just saying, hey, look, hey, there's the stats on the left side of the screen. And I'm going to point out the glaring issue right now, because I know a lot of people are just like, really, you suggest Fear? Why? Right now, her attack, at least even at a neutral 5 stars, is a, I wouldn't say piddly amount, but it is near low, and it is at 25 neutral. That is not good. Just so we're clear, that is not good. And outside of that, well, when it comes to, I think it's pretty obvious, at least when it comes to boons and banes, I'm going to highly suggest an HP bane and a attack boon, because yeah, she sorely needs it. She really needs attack for obvious reasons. But outside of that, she has some at least advantages when it comes to other stats. Her speed is pretty high. At least, even with a bane, it's pretty good. Outside of that, well, we have defense and resistance. They are pretty all-around stats. You'll notice that a lot of these units that we've been given with this voting gauntlet thing that we did were all units that were red, and they all seem to have this roundabout stat. But still, again, boon attack, bane HP. But before anyone starts to poo-poo Fear at all, I guess I'll just say that have no fear. Okay. She does have Killing Edge, which does help her out. Accelerating special triggers is always something I really like in a weapon, especially if it's a really, really good character who can use a specific stat to their advantage. And Fear technically is that, but she does what she makes up in, well, attack, she at least has in some critical abilities that will boost her a bit further. Killing Edge, and then of course Glacius, which already works off her pretty substantial resistance if it's a neutral, or even if it has a boon. It will do a lot more damage. It will help her out. She becomes a kind of pseudo mage killer, and she can at least withhold, or at least withstand, several spells. Moving on, I will just say I'm going to take a pass on speed and pass. They are, yeah, meh. So when it comes to building her, what should you put into, well, Fear? Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record because this has been used in all of the last videos. Thank you, Jay, for suggesting it constantly. It might be because, well, when it comes to characters that have these low stats in, desired skills, it's better to kind of raise all of their stats, even if it means taking a bit of damage. So as always, I suggest Fury, and of course Hinata is the easiest option, and that's the best you can really do, and hope and pray, and maybe she will do a bit more damage, especially when she needs more damage. But it doesn't hurt to raise her resistance as well to go along with it. So when it comes to B skills, We could always go with the obvious one that everyone likes to put into things like this because sword users are so oftentimes seen in Arena and in a lot of other areas as well. You could always go with Swordbreaker, I guess, or no, wait, that's not Swordbreaker. That's not what I'm thinking. Yeah, the Swordbreaker, that's Abel. That's what I'm thinking. Sorry, we're also going to be talking about that in a little bit. Anyway, Swordbreaker, Abel. That's mostly if you want to deal with sword users, but if not, you can always go, since, you know, Fear has at least a fairly good speed stat, you could always go with Shauna and get Desperation. Desperation does at least help out a little bit more in trying to trigger her special skill, which is what you want to aim for when it comes to Fear, because she really sorely needs to hit that mark to be able to do substantial damage. Next up, we're going to talk about C skills, and, well, I guess I kind of already spoiled what I was going to talk about there, but to at least be more advantageous to other units that she's dealing with, you're probably going to want Threat and Defense. And Threat and Defense, of course, comes from parry at the earliest, when with all three, at least at 4 stars, and, you know, some of you may be asking, well, why are you suggesting this again? Well, Fear is definitely going to need it. Just to give you an idea, her ability to KO units jumps substantially when she has Threat and Defense on, usually, at least from all the records that we tried. 50, she could kill about 53 units or so, which, you know, it's not the best, it's not very good, but with Threat and Defense that would jump up to 80 or so, and that means a lot for her. She definitely needs to get in there and be able to threaten their defense, or threaten any sort of chance that, you know, they just, I don't know. Fear is a very odd unit. And she's probably one of the weirdest ones out there, which is unfortunate because I don't like to say that there's flawed units in the game. By no definition is Fear flawed. It's just, I'm not sure if the investment is that great when it comes to putting together a character for Fear. If you're going to use things like Desperation and pull her in there, or you're going to try and put Fury on her, it really comes down to if you think the investment is worthwhile, and I hate to say it, I hate to be that guy, but I will say it. It's probably best you don't invest in Fear. I know it hurts, but still. And I almost died there because I'm crying, but no, not really. Yeah, that's the unfortunate truth here with Fear. She's a character that has a lot of things going for her, but in a huge meta based around killing your opponent as quickly as humanly possible, her attack is a little bit on the dark side there, and you know, even with you know, stacking Fury and things like that, you might find her a little bit more on the losing side. Doesn't mean that it won't do bad, but it does help to, you know, have Fury, Desperation, Swordbreaker, and of course Threat and Defense, which seems to be the whole build that we've been doing the last 2 videos. Holy crap, I'm really mad. So, here is how I'm going to change this up. Hopefully, we could get something else going. A little bit mad about how this is ending up. So, I want you guys, instead of doing a straw poll like we did last time to select the next unit, I want you guys to, someone needs to write in a character into the comments. And if you want to see that character as the next Inheritor of Light, you know, episode, thumbs up that comment. If it's someone you like, if it's someone you want to see, if you want to see us make a build for you, create something interesting for you, thumbs up that comment and bring it up to the top. And that is how we will decide the next character. Straw poll was great, but I felt that a lot of people were just abusing the same voting privileges over and over again, which on my part was a little bad. So, as always, when it comes to these builds, it's always Fury, and then Swordbreaker, and then maybe Threat and Attack or Defense. It's really up to you guys. Who knows what could go wrong? And a lot can go wrong. So I would love to see what you guys want to see next. Put it in the comments. Thumbs up what you want to see. And I just can't believe we did Fear. I just, there's certainly something about her.
You know, I'm not really the sort that's good with teasing.
That is not the way I would accept. Oh, God, I just wish. I wish, guys. Anyways, that's the end of this episode of Inheritors of the Light. It's really up to you if you want to try out the build on Fear. I don't know if it's worthwhile, but anyways, I will catch you all later. See you soon.